Sister, let's unpack this Malone family drama. Now, Baddies Midwest just came out, the other night? And there was a scene where Chrisean and Taseki, aka Latifah, which are sisters, if y'all don't know, follow me, they had a sit down because prior to this meetup, they hadn't talked to each other. Chrisean was in jail, and they had a prior fallout on a previous season where Taseki is stating that Chrisean had her jumped. I won't watch him baddies then, so I can't tell y'all if she had her jumped or not. However, in this sit down, they really didn't get anywhere because Taseki was wanting Chrisean to apologize for A, getting her jumped, and B, for those allegations she had against her, stating that Taseki SA'd her when they were children. Chrisean, she kind of wanted to move past that because she felt like, A, I didn't get you jumped, and B, I don't even want to talk about the SA part. Like, Chrisean is giving, I'm healed from it, so I don't want to deal with it. Personally, I don't feel like this should ever have been brought on national TV. I feel like, yes, being that Taseki got exposed 2 years ago on the internet, they need to now take this where the whole family needs to go to some type of crisis management, intervention, something where everybody can sit down and explain, you did this to me, this happened to me, mom, you weren't there, dad, you did this, so on and so forth. However, Taseki was pressuring her, saying, what did I do to you? Explain, tell me your story. And Chrisean, she constantly said, are we going to move past this, or we going to keep talking about this? And a lot of people are like, well, she was really SA'd. Why wouldn't she just speak out? Why wouldn't she just tell her truth? Now, granted, I can't speak from the place of what happened to Chrisean exactly and say, oh, this is why. But similar. I understand where she's coming from. Because some people get affected by things like that happen to them as a child in an extreme way, and other people, it's like when you become an adult, it's like, damn, that happened to me. I'm glad that it didn't impact me in such a way that I'm out of my mind. I'm dealing with constant depression. I'm dealing with PTSD. It's a good thing when you can kind of sail past it. Like, it's a thought sometimes in your mind, but you can kind of sail past it and you want to just move forward. Yeah, so to me, Chrisean, if these allegations are true, it seems like it impacted her differently. Now, you can tell in her behavior something happened. And overall, nothing came from that conversation. Nothing at all. Taseki got up. Chrisean moved, Taseki wasn't willing to continue to hear her out when she said, you made me do this when I was 7 years old. And Taseki went into tears. Her friend came out and said, you need to keep family business. Now, granted, we ain't doing that sweeping under the rug in 2024, but in the same breath, that ain't your business. And they done brought it to the internet now, so it's broadcasted on national TV. And one little caveat, Chastity, which is another sister that also, which I'm going to talk about next, the nephew mentioned she did something to him. She was giving me guilty. She was sitting at the table and she didn't have much to say, and she laughed when Chrisean was like, she changed her life around. She was doing hood gospel. You can just tell that she's guilty about something because she just gave a weird vibe. Now, on top of that, the nephew has came out and talked about how two of Chrisean older brothers, and 3 of the sisters, which included Taseki and Chastity, the one that was on Baddies, all SA'd him as a child and did wild things to him. Now, the nephew, his mother is the oldest sister, which is China. China has also came out and talked about how the Malone, because she's not a Malone, how the Malone daddy, their daddy, did something to her as well. So it just seems like a lot of things happened in that home where because mom, from what I hear, was on some type of substance. She wasn't coherent to be able to look over her children, her grandchildren, and these things were allowed. Honestly, You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, this is a money grab," but this don't sound like a money grab. Like, think about it: Baltimore, Maryland, DC, that area. We know how that area is, and I'm not saying every single person, every single family, but that's a rough area. And a lot of people's stories up there includes those things that they're talking about. We know that they grew up rough. They moved. They had a lot of children in the house. Nobody was keeping an eye on them. Like, I don't know who they need. Ayana, Dr. Phil, they need somebody. They need an intervention. They need to all sit down. And I'm not talking about sit down and say, let bygones be bygones and move on, because some of them may just not feel that way. But everything need to be put on the table, so it's not a situation of, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Like, let's all put it out on the table. I feel like Taseki might have something that she needs to share that could have happened to her. I'm not for sure, but it was a learned behavior. She did it for a reason. We just don't know. This whole situation is just crazy, y'all.